And welcome to Healthcare Sex with a China virus update live.
We begin in China, where President Xi Jinping is warning that the coronavirus outbreak is a grave situation for the country. The respiratory infection has now killed at least 56 people in the country, with more than 1,900 others infected. Canada has become the latest country to confirm its first case of the virus, a patient who had recently returned from Wuhan in China, where the outbreak originated. Chinese authorities have been trying to limit the movement of tens of millions of people for the Lunar New Year holiday.
This should be one of the busiest days of the year here, as Lunar New Year holiday crowds swarm through Shanghai's Disneyland. But Disneytown is a ghost town, closed until further notice. There'll be no Mickey Mouse to usher in the Year of the Rat.
No Mickey Mouse!
Control of the disease outbreak, and in order to ensure the health and safety of our guests and cast, Shanghai Disneyland, Disneytown are temporarily closed now.
Tourist attractions across the country have been closed to the
No
public.
Great Wall.
I just went to Tiananmen Square and the Imperial College, and they're all closed. Many other tourist sites are also closed. At a time when millions of Chinese
Look, the
travel
cars
to
are
spend
all
the
locked
Lunar
up.
New
There's
Year
no
with family,
travel.
government
There's one
roadblocks
car,
are in
guys.
place to stop
One.
all
Well,
non-essential
actually, I
traffic.
lied. There's a couple
On the
more.
outskirts of Wuhan, people trying to leave the virus-stricken city of 11 million are turned back. Health checks are carried out at the roadside. In Hubei province, cities which are home to some 60 million people have been put under quarantine. As queues form at health centers and emergency rooms, and residents
60
stock up on
million
masks and medical
people
supplies,
quarantined,
some
guys.
people have been forced to cut their holidays short. Because of the epidemic, we have to go back to work. Chinese President Xi Jinping has warned that China faces a grave situation given the accelerating spread of this new SARS-like virus. In 2003, SARS killed 650 people across mainland China and Hong Kong. This outbreak has a long way to go before it can compete with SARS. But at that time, China faced international criticism for acting too slowly and withholding critical information from other countries.
So what exactly is the coronavirus? And are fears that it is similar to SARS justified? The World Health Organization has said while the outbreak is a crisis for China, it is not yet a global health emergency. Now, scientists hope to test the first vaccines for the virus in 3 months' time. But right
BS.
now, hospitals
BS.
are making sure their staff know what to do if they come across a suspected case.
Under a microscope, they looked like crowns, hence the name coronavirus. The new variant was probably first transmitted by animals. In China, the pathogen has mutated so that it now can be transmitted from person to person. The first European cases have now been confirmed in hospitals in France, but experts see no need to worry.
Some cases in France don't change my assessment of the situation. The new scientific data we now have from China is much more important. And we can now increasingly say the whole thing is very much like SARS.
The SARS virus spread in China from 2002 to 2003, causing almost 800
Those are
deaths.
cops,
At
by
that
the
time,
way.
the worldwide
Military,
spread
not
could be
military, but
stopped.
police.
Coronaviruses are not new to humans. Other variants often trigger respiratory diseases and lead to fever, colds, and coughs. They probably only pose a life-threatening risk to patients with pre-existing conditions. So far, there are no targeted therapies or vaccines, but the viruses can be diagnosed with a test, and German hospitals are prepared.
We've trained our staff so that it's clear to every hospital employee how to proceed. But the most likely scenario at the moment is an outbreak of influenza.
Doctors recommend careful hygiene, for example, washing hands and protecting the mouth and nose. That helps against influenza as well as coronaviruses.
Now we'll take a brief look at some other stories making news around the world.
Okay, guys. Big frog jumped in my throat. We'll do it like this. Soon, this is going to be it, guys. Not joking. Joking aside. I don't know if those little bitty masks do any more than the old school cowboy. Old school cowboy might be better, guys. And if I was going to wear one of those flimsy masks, I would say batten it up. Then you can wash this, bleach water, sterilize it, dry it out, reuse it. Those masks, I don't know how much you can reuse something like that. And if it's getting contaminated on the outside, pretty much so I would believe they're done unless you can clean something and dry it. Something I just caught that was really interesting. I sent it out via message on YouTube. U.S., France, many other countries, we still have people over there in Wuhan and other places in China. And they're in the quarantine zone. They're not letting our people leave. For good reason, guys, when you think about it. I mean, but on the other hand, we got to get our people home. So, supposedly, they're making special flights every country. And we're negotiating with China to get our people back and out. There's two ways to look at that. As long as we're not paying, you know, it shouldn't be much of a negotiation. What concerns me is if they're going to bring people back via special airplane, when that airplane lands, everybody needs to get quarantined immediately and go through some kind of center to be thoroughly checked out. Thoroughly. And if it takes the 15 days, I'm sorry to say, guys, everybody coming from over there at this point should be watched. Because the incubation period is up to 15 days, give or take. Give or take. We don't even know. With that, like I've said all along, guys, there's carriers. That's people that won't show none of the symptoms. Just like the woman that escaped. It's kind of becoming an escape over there. But you got to look at, there's a danger when you escape. You could possibly be bringing something with you. Escaping from China, though, I fully understand that thought. I mean, look at our people now. We're negotiating to get them home. Our loved ones, people might have one of my people. By the way, thank you for sending me the message. I don't remember your name. I'll try to look it up and put it in a future video. Sent me a message that some of her family's over there, and she has not heard from them. And that's not cool, guys. I mean, that's got to be scary. And so, big shout out to the lady that sent me information. And like I said when I texted you back, any information you got, send it to me. Any pictures, anything, I'll run with it. And a big thank you. That's awesome that you reached out. It makes me feel right here, guys. And I have a big heart for y'all. I want to save y'all. I know it sounds hicky. What the hell? I'm in Otis, Oregon. I am a hick. I'm proud of it. I've lived in other places too, city and rural. With that though, this is just getting worse and worse. I was watching another guy that's doing stuff, and something about like up to between 50 and 60 deaths now, and that's just what they're letting us know. And like almost 2,000 or supposedly have it. Those numbers, they're way higher than that. And that's in another country over there in China. Over here, like I told you in previous videos, they're via one of my people said there's stuff already happening. I did shout out to Snafu Snaps. Hey Snaps, it's for you Snaps. Snaps came up with something I hadn't thought about. Is when they have contaminated bodies and stuff, they usually burn them and stuff. And some of the old hospitals have the big chimneys and stuff. So when you see new places, or like this new camp they're building, if they have any big furnaces and things, or you see furnaces that haven't been lit or being used in hospitals in years start firing up, guys, somebody wants to go out and check it out. I don't have one in my area, but if it's in your area, go check it out. Let me know. If they're firing up those old furnaces, they're disposing of bodies at some point. It may come to that, guys. And I'm not trying to fear porn you or whatever, but, and it sounds really bad, but at some point, that might be the only way to take care of infections. You know, I mean, we've all ran through these scenarios, guys, or at least many of us tubers that are reaching you guys, that love you guys, that you're followers or watchers. We've tried to tell you food, water. If you got some medical supplies, pile it up, put it up. If you got a good doctor and you get meds, make sure you go get them on time. Make sure you fill them regularly. Because this is coming. Like I said in another video, they talked about 600 taxi cabs delivering products over there because, as you notice, very few cars on the road, if any, are allowed. And then you get stopped. If you have a fever, you get taken in. They are even stopping cars. And I told you the military's in on this already over there. You're just starting to see the glimpse of that. Just so much going, and it's so fast. This came really quick. Also, another tuber, I watched something about Event 201. Go check out Event 201, guys. Tell me, I don't believe in coincidences, period. There's no such thing as coincidences. And with that, we love you, and healthcare sucks! Over and out.